His planet exploded on his birthday. Humans made a sitcom about it. Observation log, Alf. The title of this log contains a word my team selected. I agreed to spell it. SUCKS. I noted my objection in the file. We are moving forward. 7 entries. By entry 1, you will remember Gordon. Humans have a habit of finding things funny that, upon closer examination, are not funny at all. Gordon Shumway is one of those things. I have reviewed his complete file, every fact documented, every detail recorded. From my perspective, this is not a comedy file. This is a case file. Humans called this a comedy. I am still trying to determine why. His name, for the record, is Gordon, not Alf. Humans gave him that one. I have noted the difference. I will return to it. I have compiled 7 proofs, not arguments, not observations. Proofs, in the technical sense. Evidence filed, documented, and impossible to dispute. Each one alone is difficult. Together they answer the question in the title, the word I will not pronounce. 7 entries. Most of what follows has been observed and documented. What has not been documented is why a civilization watched all of it happen and classified it as entertainment. Let us begin. 7. Picture a planet on a birthday. Not spherical, which already tells you something about its internal gravity. 2 moons, a purple sun, green skies, blue grass, home to a civilization that had developed language, technology, a functioning military, and a detailed legal system. A real place. People who were born there. People who grew up there. Gordon Shumway was one of them. Born October 28, 1756. He attended school on Melmac. He trained on Melmac. He fought a war that started on Melmac. And then, on his 228th birthday, Melmac exploded. Not the week before, not the month after, on the day. The planet that created him, educated him, and defined everything he is, ceased to exist on his birthday. Gordon was off-planet at the time, serving in the orbit guard. He survived because of duty. He lost everything because of the same event. Both things are true, simultaneously. I have noted the timing. I have filed it under no further comment. 6. Gordon Shumway attended Melmac High School for 122 years. On Earth, secondary education lasts 4 years. Some humans find this long. I will not comment on that. 122 years. At the end of it, Gordon graduated. He joined the Orbit Guard, Melmac's only military branch. A war began. His planet exploded. He survived because he was off-planet at the exact moment of destruction. He had nowhere to return to. No home, no coordinates, no destination. He moved through space until he intercepted a signal. Not a diplomatic broadcast, not a scientific transmission, an amateur radio signal sent by a civilian in a basement as a hobby. Gordon Shumway crossed a galaxy. He followed a hobbyist. He did not choose the garage. The garage was simply where the signal ended. 122 years of education and destination, someone else's garage. 5. I will now describe Melmac as a civilization. Gold and platinum were so common on Melmac, they were used for toilets. The most valued commodities on the planet were lint, gravel, and foam. In 1923, Melmac won its first intergalactic Olympic medal in freestyle fainting and guppy chucking. The most common cause of arrest on Melmac was tickling a barber. Dancing with a mailman was a federal offense. Waving at a halibut, illegal. I've spent considerable time with these facts. What I can confirm is this. Gordon spent 122 years inside that civilization. It formed him completely. He then relocated to a planet where none of this context exists. None of these values transfer, and none of this history is recognized. He also arrived without his name. His name is Gordon. Humans gave him a new one. Alf, alien life form. A category, not a name. I have noted this. I will return to it. 4. Picture a body built for the wrong planet. 8 stomachs. This accounts for approximately 80% of all primary organs. Evolutionarily sophisticated, a Melmacian can process nearly any material under nearly any conditions. On Earth, it means near constant hunger and a tendency to eat whatever is within reach. This has not consistently served Gordon well. His heart is located in his head. The precise location of the brain remains undocumented. Melmacians are not born from a womb. They emerge from pods. I include this because I believe it deserves a moment. His nose is his most sensitive organ. He lives in a garage. I have no further comments on that specific arrangement. A body built to endure nearly anything, living in a place that tests almost nothing. That is the biology. The rest is harder to document. On Melmac, he had a name. On Earth, he has a category. 3. Picture a kitchen every morning, the same chair, the same face, looking at you from across the room. On Melmac, the cat was a dietary staple. This is not a behavioral abnormality. This is cultural, historical, and completely unremarkable within Melmatian civilization. The problem, as with nearly everything in Gordon's life, is the address. Gordon Shumway lives in a country where cats are considered family. He lives with a family that owns a cat. The cat's name is Lucky. I will ask you to sit with that for a moment. He has lost his planet. The language is foreign. The laws are foreign. The customs are foreign. And every single morning, his preferred food is sitting in the kitchen, in a chair, with a name, looking at him. Humans, I want you to think about this specifically. Imagine your favorite meal had a favorite chair, followed you down the hallway, called that hallway home. This is Gordon's Tuesday. I'm beginning to understand why humans laughed. I'm not yet certain they were correct. 2. Picture a house. No exit. The same garage where the signal ended. For years, Gordon has been confined to a single residential property in Southern California. He cannot go outside without risking capture. He cannot exist publicly as what he is. A dedicated government task force has been searching for him since his arrival. They are persistent. He is 229 years old. By Melmatian life expectancy, a teenager, he survived an interplanetary war. He survived the end of his entire civilization. He crossed a galaxy with no map and no one waiting on the other side. And he spends his days behind closed windows, hoping the neighbor does not look through the glass at the wrong moment. There is a word for this condition, SUCKS. I find that sufficient. I have encountered one species in this region of the universe with a comparable biological profile to Gordon's. Dense body, multiple digestive organs, strong sensory system centered on the nose. They lost their home system approximately 400 years before Melmac. What remained of them adapted, not by changing their biology, but by refusing to stop. They became, over time, one of the more resilient civilizations I have observed. I have no documentation on whether any of them ended up in a garage. I have not ruled it out. Proof 1. Picture a ship arriving. The surviving Melmatians had found a new planet. They negotiated with its native inhabitants, built something from what remained, and then came back for Gordon. His friends Skip and Rhonda were on that ship. There was, for the first time in years, a direction, a community, people who knew his actual name. Months earlier, Gordon had refused a different chance to leave. A friend had offered to take him. He had chosen to stay because he had grown attached to the family that sheltered him. He chose connection over return. He trusted that a better moment would come. He waited. He trusted. The moment came. On the other side of the house, Lucky was in the kitchen, in the chair, as usual. The alien task force was already on the ground when the ship arrived. Gordon stepped outside. He was surrounded. He was taken. The ship left without him. From my observations, this is the moment the file stops being funny. He survived everything, just not the timing. He had chosen connection. He had waited. He had trusted the moment. And in the moment it finally came, it was already gone. From my observations, this is the entry that makes the word I have been spelling unavoidable. Humans called this a comedy. From my observations, this is a survival story. 7 entries. A birthday that coincided with the destruction of an entire world. An education that prepared him for a civilization that no longer exists. A culture so specific it could not transfer to any other address. A body designed for conditions he no longer has access to. A preferred food with a name and a chair in his kitchen. A house with no exit. And a rescue that arrived exactly once at the wrong moment. Each of these facts taken alone is difficult. Together, they describe something precise. And you already know what it is. I spelled it twice. But here is what I find worth documenting. Beyond that word, Gordon Shumway survived every entry on this list. The war, the loss, the garage, the years behind closed windows, the morning with Lucky, the moment the ship left without him. He is still here. That is not what a tragedy looks like. That is what a Melmatian looks like. A structural assessment of one alien's existence under persistently suboptimal conditions. That was my title. I maintain it was accurate. Which means one possibility remains open. His planet exploded on his birthday. Humans made a sitcom about it. From my observations, that says more about humans than it does about Gordon. I have been on this planet considerably longer than Gordon Shumway. No one has yet required a category for what I am. I am uncertain whether that is fortunate or simply unresolved.